Rick, I have another question for you. The audience is asking the trends that you show about irrigation method change in California. Do you think it was impacted or somehow facilitated by financial incentives to growers provided by the state or by the federal government at any point?
Yes, I think there's some. I know like the NRCS, National Resource Conservation Service, they often would give out, they would have programs where they'd help people to develop new systems, drip and like center pivots, things like that. They do quite a bit of things like that. I think the state has given some incentives. Usually, I saw the big changes always during the droughts. 88 to 92, we had a drought. It increased dramatically, changed from gravity to drip irrigation. The last drought changed a lot from, so I think the drought has given a lot of incentive. And I think it's partly people learning more about it. You can do fertilizing through the system. They think it's less labor. It's probably not a lot less labor. It's different labor. I've seen people, I've talked to some farmers who took their drip system out after a couple of years. And I remember one in particular, he took it out because he said it wasn't any good for frost protection, which is true. And and he said it, and he was like 70 years old. He said, I'm not going to walk up and down these rows, like checking all those emitters to see if they're working or not. So if you got labor to do that, to make sure everything's working, it's fine. But I think people get the idea it's less labor. It's not if you're doing a really good job. It's a different labor. Like I said, you're not going out with pipes trying to get water to flow down a ditch, but you still have to check all those emitters to make sure they're working, make sure they don't plug up, and make sure you don't want to lose a bunch of crop because your drip system broke down. And so, I mean, there are good and bad things about everything, but I think the production is higher with drip. I mean, I don't think there's much question about that. In general, it's higher. If you use it right, depends on, if you want to compare ET, I know Pruitt did a lot of studies on that, and Bill Pruitt did, and he found that it makes a difference how frequently they irrigate. If they irrigate surface irrigation frequently, it was much less efficient. But if you did it, as you spread it out, had longer between irrigations, then the efficiency got better compared to drip, but the yield went down. So you had to trade these things off. So I think it depends. If you see the benefit in not having, doing your fertility through the drip system, things like that, and you're gonna have to pay. You might have to pay more power bill. Gravity, it depends on what kind of a system you're pulling the water out into the field. So there's a lot of things you have to consider. And so I don't think there's a really easy answer to that.
Okay, so Rick, you touched upon the water use, the actual water use with drip and with other methods. And one of the questions that I have from the audience is that leaching is rarely considered in the water use and water productivity of microirrigation. So what is your experience with that? So when people say, drip irrigation, microirrigation saves a lot of water, do they ever consider the leaching that is necessary with this type of method?
I don't know. You've done it. The ones I know, I did with you.
I know that is almost never considered. So the water productivity and the water use per unit of crop.
I know people who leached with surface irrigation too. Cotton fields, they used to use furrow irrigation during the season, but they go out pre-season and they would irrigate with sprinklers for a week to get the salt out of the soil.
That's true.
Whether they included that, I don't know.
Probably not.
Probably not. But that's not really fair. It's like cheating.
Yeah.
You really should consider everything you use.
Yeah.